So firstly, just to introduce myself, I'm Sue Bridges. I'm a consultant nurse for people with learning disabilities and autism at Norfolk and Suffolk NHS Foundation Trust. And my colleague, Paul.
Hello everybody, my name's Paul Mccluskey. I'm a Green Light peer support worker based in Norwich in Norfolk.
You all right, Paul?
Yeah, sure.
You might have a few sound issues there.
Oh, okay.
You all right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're here today to talk about Paul's employment within the team. I felt it was really important that I had somebody working alongside me as a colleague with lived experience. So Paul, what made you think about applying for the Green Light job in 2018?
Well, first of all, I remember it being advertised in a place where I do voluntary work. And I remember seeing the information pack and the application form when easy read. It had a look at felt inviting, and there was also just a paper version, not online. And also there was a section in it about reasonable adjustments, and it didn't feel rushed. And the most unique thing about any application form was there was no closing date.
So what happened first?
What I did is I had to get a copy of that and take it home. So what I did is I took a couple of copies just in case I made a mistake in the first one, filled it out, and then got it in the post the second day. And then within a few days after, I was invited to attend a job session, which has been held in Dis, which is in South Norfolk, for those who don't know this area. So.
And then what?
I went along to a job session on a very hot, humid August day, and felt a little anxious at first, then felt more relaxed as soon as it started. It was a very hot day, and we just couldn't find any water anywhere. So we ended up taking water out of the ordinary tap, so no water coolers with water in them. So.
That's correct. Yeah, that's right. So you didn't have an interview. In fact, we had a job session instead. So what did you do in the job session?
Well, it's different to the interviews I've attended in the past, because all the candidates all attended together, where we had to stand up individually and introduce ourselves to everyone. And as a task, we were given half an hour to make an easy read poster, and we then had to take it in turns to present to the group. And the candidates chose me for the job because I felt I was job suited for this job.
That was really interesting, actually, wasn't it? That all the other candidates chose you for the job. We would have chosen you anyway, Paul, but it was great to have people choose you for the job. So you got it. You got the job.
Yeah, I was very over the moon. I remember receiving a phone call saying I'd been offered a job. I was so happy. It completely changed my whole day because I remember the person interviewing me, Sue Medley, trying to get hold of me on the phone frantically to tell me good news.
You know, we were very excited. So how has life changed for you, Paul?
Well, I'll say that at this moment in time, I'm still on benefits at the moment as well, so I'd eventually like to come off completely off the benefits. My life has changed in that I've developed a new sense of purpose, and having the job title Green Light Peer Support Worker, it's given me more recognition for my skills and experience around easy read, designing all sorts of different documents in easy read format, delivering training, working with others in groups and meetings, and getting to travel to different places. This was pre-COVID, so just to let you know that. So.
Yeah. And it is a challenge. That's one of the biggest challenges, isn't it? Coming off benefits and feeling confident enough to do that.
Yes.
So we're working through that at the moment. So you talked about you run different groups. Tell me a bit about that. What groups do you run?
Well, a few of them. Firstly, I run a monthly Easy Read group. This is a group attended by service users who check they understand the Easy Read information that has been made, and sometimes they make the Easy Read information themselves.
Okay. That's great. And what other groups do you do?
Also, I'm chair of what's called the Service User Forum, which is held every Tuesday at 2 o'clock on Zoom. And this was set up over a year ago to support people during COVID. And we also have guest speakers if anyone here today is interested in coming along. And we also have a quiz to help people's well-being and have many activity packs to give people things to do at home.
That's really good, Paul. I think you you've talked about the activity packs. They're all co-produced about what people would like to do at home, and we give suggestions and things. They've been very well received, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Yeah.
We get all sorts of entries, poems, crosswords, all sorts of stuff. We're currently working on one at the moment. So.
Yeah, that's really good. And you talked about training. What training do you deliver, Paul?
Also deliver Easy Read training on a monthly basis to staff to teach them how to make information easy to understand. So if anyone's interested at all in venturing towards Easy Read training, do get in touch with us. We can find a slot and hopefully we can come along and attend.
So in terms of your role, Paul, what reasonable adjustments are in place to support you?
Most importantly, firstly, I was given a good office chair with back support. And also, it seemed unusual to me at the time, but I do have 2 monitors which help me see the original document and the Easy Read version at the same time. And what I also do is, Sue being my current line manager, we do meet on my work days, mostly Tuesday and Thursday, to discuss the work that I have to do on that day. I also have a work plan in place, so I know what jobs are coming in. They're color coded in red, amber and green like a traffic light system, so I know what the priorities are. And if I need help, I know I can contact the team for support.
That's great. That's great. So what would you say to anyone with a learning disability about getting a job?
Oh, just 3 words really, go for it. And also there are lots of resources on Work Ready that we made to help people get a job. Anyway, thank you. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening. We invite any questions if anybody has any.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Paul and Sue.
No problem.
It was excellent to hear about your experiences, Paul. And there's some really, really good practical strategies there that will help people think about how to help and enable other people at work. I have a question, selfishly. I wondered what kinds of activity packs you had created. I heard crosswords, and but I wondered if you could share a little bit more about that and how you had co-created those packs for people.
I suppose we initially set them up because when people were in lockdown, they had something to preoccupy their minds away from what was going on in the news. I mean, we have all sorts of these activity packs, not just necessarily crosswords. It could be poems and practical stuff, maybe like scavenger hunts, things to get out and about, and motivational messages, all sorts of stuff. So
brilliant.
Yeah, and
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, there's colouring and stuff. And with the last one actually was was much more links to go onto the computer with. So there was dance groups and choirs, all sorts of things. You could get, if they're available, to get online and join different groups. So there's lots of different, a range of activities.
That's great. Really brilliant. I'm just going to ask the lady who's on Emily's screen to mute the sound on her computer, please. Thank you. I've got a couple of questions for you in the chat box because we're just a little bit under time. So I'm just going to read through these.
Yeah, sure.
We thought in particular it was good practice to have 2 screens for easy read, Paul.
Yeah, it's handy. I thought it was an unusual concept at the time, so I'd never worked with 2 screens, but well, I know you understand the point of both. So yeah,
it makes life a lot easier for you, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And constantly tabbing all the time.
Joe has asked a question, says your role sounds really interesting, Paul. You're offering some great services which must have so many benefits. Lots for her to think about. Rachel has said, really interesting, Paul. Thanks for sharing your experiences.
You're welcome.
Daniel says, Paul's experience reminds us about the Seeability Associates that Scott presented last month. How do we ensure people with learning disabilities have greater access to the jobs market? That might be a question for you, Sue.
Well, I think what we wanted to do was to obviously ensure that we got the right candidate for the jobs. So we didn't advertise it on what we usually use, which is NHS Jobs, the platform, because we knew people wouldn't go there to look for a job. So we took a lot of application packs out to job centres, to self-advocacy groups. We did a lot of legwork to get those application packs everywhere that we could, to make it more accessible for people so they could pick up an application pack and think about it. We didn't know what the uptake would be, but we got about 12 people making inquiries. And then when we sent the interview date through for people, I think we had 5 people turn up. So was it 4 or 5? Paul, I can't actually remember.
Less than, I think it was initially ended up just 3 altogether because the 4th one cancelled at the last minute, I understand, or I can't remember.
The 4th one we did a private interview because they didn't want to be in the group.
That's what I remember now.
Yes, so that was interesting because obviously the role was very much about standing up and teaching and being, so we needed the right person who could do that. So it was making sure it was accessible right from the beginning and that we were targeting the right audience. But since then we've done the Work Ready project, so it'd be helpful to share that with everybody here today, which is a lot of resources, about easy read resources about getting employment. Do you want me to pop that in the chat?
Yes, please, Sue, because Christine's asked a question about how we make sure that we open more jobs for people with learning disabilities. Yes. And she suggested perhaps it would be interesting to see what an internal audit would showcase in terms of how many people are working within organisations. So if you could drop that in the chat box, that would be great. I'm really keen that we provide an opportunity for the audience to also have a reflection on Christine and Peter's presentation and maybe drop some questions into the chat box for a little bit later as well. But for now, Sue and Paul, thank you so much for sharing your experiences.